Now, today I'm going to show you an effective way of budgeting. Now, I know that when we talk about budgeting, a lot of people just freeze. You'll swear that that word, it's a swear word somehow. And I don't know why, but it does something to us. But for me, I believe that, budgeting is like a GPS, right? It shows you where you are in terms of your finances, but it also can guide you in terms of where you want to go. So today I'm going to show you exactly how I budget. And, I used to struggle a lot with my finances. They didn't make sense until I created this structure. And I believe that it's going to help you as well. Cool. So where do we start? Now, the first part about budgeting obviously starts with the income, right? So income, or we can say incomes, right? Because now we're living in days that, one income is no longer enough. So we have to have at least 2 or 3 more incomes to really make sure that, we navigate through these challenging financial times. So the first part is your income. So you state your income. And then the second part is fixed expenses, right? So this is where we need to subtract, our fixed expenses from our income. All right, cool. So, but what are our fixed expenses? So these are, repayments that you do on a regular basis monthly, right? Depending on when you get paid. So some of us get paid, weekly. Some of us get paid bi-weekly. Some of us get paid monthly. It doesn't matter what the case might be. But those, that these bills that you are paying every single month, like your rent, your car installment, the levies, your school fees of the kids, everything, food, every month, that these are my expenses that I have. So you're going to take your income, you're going to then minus from that income your fixed expenses, and then you either have a deficit or you have a surplus. So of course, preferably you should have a surplus, because if you are sitting with a deficit, then it means that you are in trouble. So that technically means that your income is not sufficient to carry your expenses. And that is the worst kind of position that you can be in life when it comes to finances. Right, cool. So now let's really just maybe concentrate on the surplus part. But maybe let me touch a little bit on deficit. So what do you do when you are on a deficit? So the first part what I would do, or what I would recommend, is that get somebody from the outside to sit down with you as you do that budget again, right? Because at times we think that we are in the worst of kind of position, only to find out there's certain things that we should be cutting that we are doing that we shouldn't be doing, right? So at least when you have, a pair of eyes that are independent, they can then look at your finances and see what's going on, and then they can guide you. If after that you're still having a problem where it means that technically your fixed expenses are more than your income, then you can also look at maybe starting to go to your financial institutions if you have debt, where you can be able to negotiate maybe, a repayment reduction. Or if worst case scenario, like this is the last resort, then you can maybe look at people like debt counselors, so that maybe you can go into debt review. But I would definitely follow those steps. The first step is then, sit down with somebody who's independent from you, that can look at in terms of your finances, and maybe they can look at things differently than you do. And that's where I would also maybe recommend things like maybe printing, like your bank statements for the past 6 months. That can definitely assist, and then let them go through everything with you, and they must then give an advice or a strong opinion around it to say, where are you? And then if that still doesn't help, like me, because at times it happens that your expenses are genuine, and technically you are not earning enough, and that then becomes an issue. So those are the things that you can maybe look at taking to, maybe if you have debt, as I said, going to the financial institutions that you have debt with, and then be able to negotiate maybe the repayment reduction. If that doesn't work, then you can also maybe look at debt review as well. But normally, and that's my opinion, is that debt review should be the last resort. So you have done everything that you can, but now go into that process, because when you get into debt review, it technically means that you are sequestrated, that you can't do anything, you can't take any more debt, then yeah. But of course, you need to be able to discuss that with the debt counselor so that they can take you through all of that step, and then you can make an informed decision to say, do I get in or not? And then of course the other aspect of it is that we need to be able to look at ways to make more money. Like that one is standard these days. It's no longer a thing that you must consider. You must just do. The question is, what will you do to then supplement your income? Cool. So now we'll concentrate on the surplus. So it means that you're on the green. Yeah, you're on the green. So it means that your income is sufficient to carry your fixed expenses, and there's something that is left behind after everything else. So if you pay everybody, then there's money that is left there. So what now do you do, with the surplus? So there are 4 things that needs to happen, according to me, and that's where, my effective budgeting process comes in. So the 4 things that need to happen. Number 1, you need to save. Number 2, you need to invest. And then number 3, I call it an opportunity allowance. And then number 4, it's entertainment. All right, cool. So let's first start with savings. So why is savings so important? So savings is where now we create liquidity. So liquidity, it means that emergencies, it's an emergency fund. So if something happens during the month, your tire bursts and you need to get a new tire, you don't have to wait for the end of the month. You can just go into your emergency fund and then you are sorted, right? So this is not a growing money kind of setup. This just, you park money in case something happens, because we all know that we live in a world that is very unpredictable. If you didn't learn with COVID, I don't know, right? Because COVID should have taught us that, hey, we need to always make sure that we have money in the storehouse. We're saving money in case emergencies comes, in case unforeseen circumstances come our way and we are not prepared. So that's technically what it is. So you might also then ask, Kevin, so what type of maybe an account do I open to then park this money? All I can say is that, if a lot of financial institutions have some kind of, an account that you can park money in just for emergencies. But please make sure that whatever account that you take is not an account that basically locks the funds. Like for example, for 32 days, because an emergency happens today, you need the money today. So you need something that is pretty much flexible. And I get to that part. I know you're asking, but how? Because I'm not disciplined. I'll get to that. All right. The second part is investments. So what do we talk about when we say investments? So this is where we technically grow money. You put money into something so that you grow it to get a return. So this could be traditional investments. Of course, this is where you talk to your financial advisor, and they can then tell you to say, okay, what different avenues or platforms can you plug in order for you to grow your money? There's equities, there's property, so there's traditional investments, of course, like the market, the stock market. And then of course, there's things like your property, which is the bricks and mortar. So you're buying a physical property and then you rent it out. Depending on the type of property investment style you want to get into, you can definitely do that. But there's a number of them. You can invest in a startup, there's crypto, right? So you can also do that. Of course, you need to be able to get more information. Make sure that you're educated, you research, and then when you get into these things, you are well informed. So that's investment. So investment is where now we grow money. All right. So we grow money. And then there's opportunity allowance. Now, this has really, really helped me a lot, right? So opportunity allowance is money that you use. So remember here, savings is money that you save. It's money that comes out every month, goes somewhere. Investment, money that comes out every month, goes somewhere. Now, opportunity allowance is money that I spend on my personal development. Okay, so this way it's I've been studying so that I can be able to get my real estate license. So that was part of my opportunity allowance, right? So now I have that, and then of course I look for other things that I need to do within that space. Or it could be to buy a book, right? So you buy a book, or it can be you use the money to get a coach. So every month you need to take your coach out, or you need to pay for the coach. Mentors, right? Look, you cannot call a mentor out of their time, and a lot of the the times these mentors are busy, and then you think they're gonna now pay for themselves. Come on, right? So that money can then go to the lunches, breakfasts, and all those kind of things. So you pick up the tab. So all of this is really around improving you. It's about your personal development. It helps a lot, especially during these times, guys. We know times are tough, right? Times are tough, but opportunities are there for those who are skilled and who can recognize those opportunities. So please make sure that at the end of the day, you continuously evolving. I know at times we do have, maybe courses that we take at work, personal development around it, but it's not the same as when you do it, right? In your own time, in a way that you want to. So please make sure that you invest. And that's where it's also part of investment. You are investing in yourself so that you can comply with we're advancing now. Technology is moving and everything else. You don't want to be redundant in your industry. So that definitely assists. Okay, and then the last one is entertainment. So basically, entertainment. This is money that I call it your you money. It's my me money, right? So it's technically my salad. This is money that I can blow on anything I want to, right? So if I want to buy something, maybe a t-shirt, I want to buy a pair of pants every month, I can do that. I always recommend that at least every month, get something new. It helps you to just like, wow, I'm working and I'm spoiling myself. It does something to your mind and to you generally, right? So make sure that you are spoiling yourself. When you get paid, what I do, before anything else, I take myself out, I go for a dinner, and that's me. I thank myself for that month. So you can also do that. So the entertainment aspect, that it's basically money that is for you. But when everything has happened, right? But there needs to be a budget around it. So for example, if you say you're gonna spend maybe $2,000 every month, and that's your me money, so then you know that you're gonna park that money in the entertainment account. So I normally say that, have 2 transactional bank accounts if you can. So why is there 2? Because the one is the main one. So that's the one the income comes in and then all the expenses goes out, right? So it's a transactional account. So you're transacting on it. And then the second one, I call it the entertainment account, right? So the entertainment account is the one that now houses, the entertainment, anything that I spend on myself. If I entertain go on lunch, I do that. If I go buy myself anything, like I can do anything with that money and I won't feel anything, like I won't feel guilty, so to speak. So that's where this comes through. But now there's what I call a 2-account system. So a 2-account system is technically where now, remember I said you're going to have now 2 transactional accounts. So you have the main account where your salary goes in or your income goes in, and then the expenses go out, right? And then you're going to have an entertainment account. So an entertainment account is the one is my me money. So that's my me account money, right? So then what I do is that I then have a limit to say, all right, maybe my entertainment budget is 2,000. So then within that 2,000, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to load a scheduled payment on the main account, all right, into the entertainment account. It's for $2,000. Okay. So you load that. So you load that scheduled payment. So if I get paid on the 25th, it means that so when the salary comes in, that 2,000 automatically goes into the second account. And then that account is the one that you take everywhere with, like, so that when I go out, that's what I do, because then I'll need to spend money. I'm gonna spend money here, right? Because for example, somebody was like, but the petrol would have gone out, right? So these days we have nice bank accounts where you can have a pocket, they call it pocket account. All right, so you can put maybe for yourself, like maybe for the month you spend maybe let's say 2,000 on petrol. So every week you're spending 500 Rand. So you know that you can always transfer that 500, fill up the tank, and that's basically you are sorted. So you have a budget sitting there for that petrol. All right. But this one is basically to swipe. You and your girls, you and your boys, you go out. That's what you are swiping. So you know that when it's finished, it's finished. You're gonna wait until month end. And that's where now, this whole thing then creates accountability, and it makes it much more effective for you to manage your finances. Because if I say, how much do you spend on entertainment now, you probably won't tell me because you don't have a structure, right? But if now you have this and I say, how much you spend on entertainment, I spend 2,000. All right, but technically maybe times it's 1.5, because you'll see that as you go, you'll start then to regulate yourself, right? You start to regulate yourself. But when you start, of course, you still, like I normally say, you're like a druggie going to rehab. So you're gonna have the shakes, and then you're gonna, because remember, your brain is used to no limit. And then all of a sudden you tell your brain today it's like you're gonna have a limit of 2,000. Like, what? So it's gonna be shocked, of course. And then but I normally say that if you can do it consistently for 3 months, then you'll be fine. You're gonna start, like, your brain is gonna start to even self-regulate. It's like, hey, dude, you're spending too much. And then, or at the end of the month, that 2,000, you'll probably have some change, maybe even sitting with 400 that you did not use. Try it and tell me what you think. But technically, yeah, this is how I budget, and I feel that this is a best way to budget, just to have structure within your personal finances. So please, try it out and tell me what you think. And of course, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can get a lot more of these videos. And they're coming. Right now, like, I'm hot, because I want you to do better in 2024. So please make sure that you hit that red button and subscribe. And yeah, leave your comments and tell me, if you tried out, and if you maybe have another effective way of budgeting, you can just let me know. Anyway, Gavin Kabela signing out. See you on the flip side.